Hello everyone and welcome to another Prebeo Animation Studios tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to learn how to create this fall looking scene right here. Very easy to create, very basic. Again, it's just a bunch of leaves that aren't even real model leaves. They're in image texture. And with a alpha mask to them, we can put them into a particle system setting and create a really cool scene out of them. So very simple. We got our simple background here too, just a simple sunset fall type of scene with a leaf texture off of CG textures. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. So we got our basic scene here, and let's go ahead and start. So we're first going to need our leaf texture. So the leaf texture that I am going to be using is one off of cgtextures.com. So I'm going to load that up, go to the nature section right here, and then you're going to go to leaves right here. And the texture that I used was this one with the alpha mask, the basic yellow leaf. You can use any of these that you like. I just wanted a nice fall leaf, so that's the texture that we're going to use, and we're going to import that using an images as planes add-on. Let's go ahead and use the add-on. So go to user preferences, and I have it enabled by default. Just type in import, start typing that in, and you'll see import export images as planes. So now let's just delete the cube. You can go Shift A, add mesh, and images as planes. Alright, so we're just going to find our texture here real quick. Here we go. And under the settings, you can choose to have a transparent background without having to connect the nodes and everything. You just go diffuse and transparent, import images as planes, and there you go. There is our leaf. And if we pull open the node editor here, it sets this little menu and then N for the node editor. It automatically does all of the nodes for you, so you don't have to go through and plug in transparent to a mix shader and know where the alpha goes and all that stuff. This add-on does it automatically for you. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna add in a little bit more detail so we don't have flat leaves. So just go into edit mode here, hit W and subdivide, and we're gonna be adding in, I think we're gonna need about 20 cuts. Should be pretty good. Alright, now we're gonna select just random points on our plane, hit O for proportional editing, and we're just gonna kind of just bend these, just kind of go up and down. Make your circles bigger and smaller. It's gonna take maybe that stem there and bring it down. Just randomly do this, just so it looks like your leaf has some depth to it. And kind of make the whole leaf bend like that. Maybe kind of rotate it up too. You can kind of see the depth that we're giving it. Maybe bring this side up here, that little part, and there we go. Now you can't really see it, but it does need smooth shading enabled. You can kind of see it there a little bit. Okay, and that is our object. Now we need to move it up. So go ahead and turn off proportional editing by hitting O, and just move that origin point to the base like that, and there we go. There is our leaf. Just rotate that up, and we can add this in to a particle system. So let's just move this to another layer. Let's add in a new plane here. Don't have to make it too big, it's big enough. Just we're gonna have a little clump of leaves right there. And let's add in a little bit more detail because we're going to need to do a vertex painting. So we'll set that about 15. And hit Alt Control Tab to go to the vertex painting mode. And we're just going to paint in here. So I already know pretty much where the leaves are going to be. So just to improve render times and stuff, we're just going to add that in right there. I mean, it's not cutting that much off, but it'll save you a little bit on the render times. So just like that. Okay. Now let's add in our leaf. So new, particle system, change the type to hair, check advanced, check random, let's set the number to 2000, and let's just go ahead and add in our object. So it's going to be the name of the texture there. So there you go, our leaves are just like that. Alright, let's set the size down a little bit. Set the random size up enough there. And maybe turn it back up. It's a lot of twisting and doing random stuff to make your leaves look good. We're going to check rotation. And we're going to select this guy here. So we just need to rotate them how they're going to be laying. So kind of up like that and stuff. Okay. Now we need to set the origin point a little bit differently here. So if we move it along the X, it's going to go up. So you can see our plane here. So we need to move this along the X now so that the leaves aren't going through the ground. And that looks pretty good. Let's apply our vertex group there. And I think that's pretty good. We can add in some Brownian and a little more random rotation. You can just play around with it and stuff. Let's work on the lighting, which includes the background. So first let's add in a sun lamp. Let's set this a little bit of sharper shadows there. Check use nodes. Let's go 5. And since it's a sunset, just a little bit on the orangey yellowish side. Alright, and we just want to rotate this so that the sun is coming through the leaves just like that. And then a little bit of a cross shadow going on like that. Alright, one thing I just remembered with the particle system settings, uncheck emitter so the ground does not show up in renders. You can add in a dirt texture to it, but I believe for mine I just unchecked emitter. If we have problems, we'll turn that back on and we'll add in a texture. But for right now, we'll just leave the emitter turned off. Alright, I'm going to use the Images as Planes add-on again for my background. So I've got a bunch of backgrounds here. I'm just going to use a texture like this. And all of the files and textures will all be up on BlendSwap, so you can download them for free there. Get the .zip folder. Alright, and just go ahead and import that. And I believe it was still diffuse transparent. So that was my fault. Alright, let me just re-add that in again there. Images as Planes. This time it just needs to be emission. There we go. Alright, Images as Planes. And by default, the add-on enables this. Light path is camera ray, so basically it's an emission material, but it's not casting light. I always remove that because I want my sky to be casting light onto the scene. So you can see even in this, with that enabled, this didn't have any light cast. And as well as that, for your skies, always uncheck shadow so it doesn't cast a big shadow onto the scene because it is just a big plane. So rotate that along the X by 90 degrees. Just gonna put that around in there. We'll probably have to scale that down a little bit. Let's go ahead and set up our camera so we can do all this. So Control Alt Numpad 0. Just want our camera in the leaves here. A little bit of turn there. Then we can hit Alt Z, go textured mode so we can see here. Just like that. Okay. And we just rotate that down a little bit more. Since the sun is pretty much coming straight on, you want to mimic that with your sun lamp, but a little bit. You don't want it straight, just a little bit of a curve like that. There you go. Okay. Now I do want to zoom out and get a little bit of a wider lens here, so we can get more of those leaves. As well as that, just want to come up a little bit. So we'll have to fix our sky there again. Just like that. Okay. So with the camera settings, we'll just add in depth of field, turn on limits, and let's just set our distant marker to be out of focus back here, out of focus in the front, but in focus in the middle. Set it to f-stop, and since it's not that far, we'll just set this to about either 2 or 1. We'll start with 1. The closer or the lower the distance is, you don't need to set the number as low to make the depth of field as greater. So we'll test it out. But that should be it. There's probably gonna be stuff that we need to fix, but this should give you the overall look of the scene. Alright, so it looks like the image, trying to come out of the rendered view. Okay, need to get a new graphics card here soon. It looks like our image lost its transparency, but maybe it's just too dark. We need to add in some environment lighting. So as well as that, add in a sky texture. So hit this dot and hit S to add in a sky texture. Set it to Prebeo, and we're just gonna set it to, you can see here, a nice sunset type of one. Not completely orange, just around in there. We'll set that to about 0.1, so it's a little bit darker. Okay, and as well as that, let's just add in some random movement. I feel like these are a little bit too uniform still. Okay, so like that, some more randomized size, maybe a little bit bigger, just a little bit more Brownian. Let's go into the leaves a little bit more. And let's just check border rendering, so it only renders what's inside the camera's view. And let's see if this did any good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I can't tell though if the texture is applying right. Let me just check. Yeah, it should be. Our texture seems fine right here. But I did forget the bump mapping for our leaves to add in a little bit more realism. So let's just open up the node editor again. And under our leaf shader, we're just going to add in a normal map. And I know that our texture isn't a normal map, but I was just kind of messing around with the texturing, and I actually found that once I did this, it gave a little bit of an interesting bump map to it. So you can really see it here. So you can see that it kind of gets all of the veins of the leaf and makes a bump out of them. So you can add this in if you want. I'm just going to turn mine down a little bit here. It's very sensitive. About 0.2. That should be pretty good. So that should be good. I think that's the scene. Let me see if adding in a ground texture to this will make it look a little bit better, because I think, I don't know, it looks like the looks like these are like too bunched up together. I'm not sure yet. So let me just add in a basic ground texture. Again, all of these textures will be available on Blend Swap. So just gravel 0070, which is on CG Textures. And we'll just add that in. And just quickly go project from view bounds. Just open up the thing there and scale it up. Okay. Got our basic dirt texture there. And that should be it. Okay. So I'm just gonna come out right here and see how it looks. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay, yeah. You can see the texture is applying correctly. So basically, it's all based on the random seed. So however you want it to lay in your scene, it's up to you. I think we need a little bit of a bigger size though, so let's go with the normal. Make those a little bit bigger. Come up along the Z a little bit more. Just keep playing around with this until you get something that you like. But that's how I made this scene. So let's go ahead and get to our render settings. So we'll just add in, for the sake of the tutorial, about 300 samples. I recommend you go more. Full global illumination, and for me, so this 256, because I guess that's the good tile size for GPU rendering. And let's go ahead and render this out and hop into the compositor once this has finished. Alright, so I just stopped the rendering real quick because for me 300 samples was too much, so it was going to take too long. It's like an hour. So I'm just bringing down my samples, but like I said, take yours all the way up for a final render. As well as that, I'm just gonna move the camera back a little bit, do some little adjustments to the scene like that. Just want as wide as the camera will come out, and just like that. Okay, so like I said, you do more for your final scene, but I'm only going to be doing about 100 samples, just so this doesn't take too incredibly long. Alright, so back once this is done. Alright, so it took about 10 minutes for me to render, and it's obviously pretty grainy, but you know, we'll make do with it since it's a tutorial. So let's go to the compositor, control left arrow and control up arrow. Alright, set up our nodes. backdrop, Control Shift left click, add in a viewer node, and V just to zoom that out there. It's gonna be a pretty basic composite. Not gonna be much to it. Basically, just a for the first one, filter glare, type 2 fog glow, and we'll go about 0.2, really focusing on that sun there. There you go. It's a nice effect. We don't really need to add in any color correction unless you want to make a color correction. I basically, for mine, added in the glow in the vignette. So, vignette, just cut this so it goes a little bit faster. Alright, distort to 1, converter math to the bottom, value to 0. You guys probably already know how to do this. Alright, anyway. Fast Gaussian relative X 3030. Color mix. Effect into the bottom. Scene into the top. Type to multiply, and we'll just turn that down a little bit. 0.7. And there you go. Nice vignette. And after the vignette, I started doing my brightness control after the vignette, because vignette really darkens the image, so I kind of add in the brightness thing afterwards. Okay, so that is it. That's our scene. There it is, all done. So I hope you learned something in this. Wanted to make a tutorial before Thanksgiving week this week here in America. So just wanted to do a quick fall scene for you, and then in December we'll do a winter scene together. But there will be some more tutorials before that one. But anyway, that's the end of this tutorial. So I hope you learned something, and have a good day. So I know that we just stopped the tutorial, but I wanted to say again, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I trust that you guys enjoy this week. Eat lots of turkey and whatever you're gonna eat. But I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to you, and enjoy your week.